Hey basketball guys, we have news. Let's go to more Los Angeles Lakers news, but first don't forget to subscribe to the channel and leave your like. The Lakers signed a great player, but they didn't have success with Alex Len. The player failed to show any chemistry and it makes no sense for him to continue playing for the Lakers. Alex Len was a failed signing for the Lakers and the player will be released at the end of the season. Reinforcements in the Los Angeles Lakers frontcourt. It was an existing thought before the Luka Doncic trade. It became even more of a dominant notion after it. On February 11, the Lakers attempted to satisfy that need. Los Angeles managed to lure Alex Len away from a potential deal with the Indiana Pacers, in favor of joining the marquee franchise in Hollywood. Just like that, the Lakers had themselves a proper big man. The initial reaction was a bit mixed. Some were excited about having anything of substance after the Mark Williams trade fiasco. Len had instances throughout his career where he provided some solid, sparing minutes off the bench. Perhaps the 12-year veteran could do that in Los Angeles. The less optimistic takes saw the lack of recent production and were immediately skeptical of the boost Len would provide in the 2024-25 campaign. Unfortunately for the Lakers, the initial returns on this situation has been much closer to what the critics saw. A mediocre initial grade gets worse for the Lakers and Len. The original analysis offered from this editorial gave a somewhat generous grade, despite properly identifying the expectation for a lack of overall impact. The Lakers received a grade of C for their acquisition of Len. The thought was that Len would not figure much into the rotation, which the veteran big man hasn't, but when called upon, there could be some decent minutes, in small doses, to be found. Unfortunately for the Lakers and their fans, the latter just has not been the case. So far, Len has appeared in 5 games for Los Angeles. The Ukrainian center even started one of those contests. In those appearances, Len has averaged a woeful 0.8 points, 2.2 rebounds, and 0.4 blocks during 10.6 minutes per game. The Lakers' big man has shot 33.3% from the field, posting a box plus-minus of -6.6 per 100 possessions. Len has an offensive rating of 109.2 and a defensive rating of 116.2. For reference, Jackson Hayes has posted an offensive rating of 136.4 and a defensive rating of 111.0. Len has been disappointing, to put it kindly. His lack of mobility at 32 years of age really shows and does not serve him or the Lakers well. In all fairness, that has never been a real strength of his game, but in a defensive and offensive system similar to what J.J. Redick and his staff are trying to run, it is a very notable detriment. Ultimately, the reassessment regarding the grading of this signing for the Lakers does not go in their favor. This feels especially disappointing for the franchise when looking around the league and seeing former trade targets, who could have been acquired without a relatively steep cost, thriving with their new teams. Luka Doncic assigns blame after Lakers loss to Nets. Luka Doncic and the Los Angeles Lakers' fourth-quarter comeback was cut short as they lost 111-108 Monday night to the Brooklyn Nets in Barclays Center. The story of the game was Brooklyn's offensive rebounding, as the Nets doubled the Lakers 16-8 in that category. LA was thin on frontcourt depth due to injuries to LeBron James, left groin strain, Dorian Finney-Smith, left ankle soreness, Jackson Hayes, right knee contusion, and Rui Hachimura, left patellar tendinopathy. This led to small lineups, often with forward Jared Vanderbilt as the team's tallest player on the court, which contributed to the rebound discrepancy. Los Angeles Lakers head coach J.J. Redick Gary A. Vasquezamain images Gary A. Vasquezamain images rebounding certainly wasn't the only problem for the Lakers against Brooklyn. Another major contributor was the poor shooting of Doncic, 8-for-26, and Austin Reaves, 3-for-14. Head coach J.J. Redick also highlight poor communication after the game via Jovan Buha of The Athletic, something Doncic took responsibility for after the game. "That's my fault," said Doncic, assigning the blame to himself. Luka Doncic, when asked about J.J. Redick calling out the Lakers' lack of communication on offense tonight, said, "That's my fault." Dave McMenamin, at 10, March 11, 2025. The counting stats for Doncic and Reeves were solid despite the poor shooting. Doncic supplied his second triple-double as a Laker with 22 points, 12 rebounds, and 12 assists, while Reeves came close to a triple-double of his own with 17 points, 10 assists, and 8 rebounds. With a second straight loss for Los Angeles and a win for the Denver Nuggets against the Oklahoma City Thunder, the Lakers now have fallen to the third seed in the Western Conference. As durability continues to be a problem for LA, it stands tied with the Memphis Grizzlies in the standings, as well as only one game ahead of the Houston Rockets for the fifth seed. The Lakers have 2 more games of their current road trip before returning back to Crypto.com Arena for a 5-game homestand. Lakers have developed a strength that can save them from LeBron's injury. Even without LeBron, the Lakers have a strength to rely on. The Los Angeles Lakers are in the midst of a season that's been defined by resilience. They've overcome blowout losses, multiple losing streaks, a rush of injuries to key players, and trades both successful and otherwise to carve out a 40-22 record with 20 games to play. Los Angeles's most recent game was a disappointing loss, but even in defeat, it showed why it can sustain and build upon its success. Los Angeles traveled to face the Boston Celtics on Sunday, March 9. Unfortunately, the game ended in defeat in multiple regards, as it fell 111-101 to its bitter rivals and lost superstar LeBron James to a groin injury that could keep him sidelined for as long as 2 weeks. According to Dan Woik of the Los Angeles Times, Lakers head coach J.J. Redick was quick to point out a positive takeaway from the loss: his defense continued to play exceptionally well. Frankly, I thought we defended well tonight. Missing Jackson and not being able to have him roam off of Drew Holiday, I think, hurt a little bit with the rim protection, but we forced them into a lot of off-the-dribble jumpers after the first quarter, Redick said. We wanted to limit their threes. They shot 38 threes. They averaged 48. Tatum and Brown, for those guys, they played 42 minutes and 46 minutes and both took over 25 shots. We executed well defensively on a lot of things. On a night when James suffered an injury, Rui Hachimura and Jackson Hayes were sidelined, and the Celtics scored 33 first-quarter points, the Lakers' defense continued to be a strength. Lakers' defense can guide it through injury woes and into the playoffs. Los Angeles currently ranks number 13 in defensive rating, but those who have been watching them know that's a misleading number. The Lakers boast the number 1 defensive rating in the NBA since January 15, allowing a mere 108.0 points per 100 possessions. During that sufficient sample size of 25 games, the Lakers have gone 20-5, tied with the Cleveland Cavaliers and Oklahoma City Thunder for the best record in the NBA. It's the primary reason Los Angeles has been able to navigate a season in which they traded their franchise center for a superstar perimeter playmaker and didn't miss a beat. Clearly, both Anthony Davis and Luka Doncic guarantee a high level of play by simply being on the court. The entire team could have been turned on its head when they were swapped in the blockbuster trade, however, as the Lakers suddenly began to play through a star with an entirely different skill set and general location on the court. Instead, the Lakers have committed to patience as the source of progressively figuring out their new identity on offense and emphasized defense above all else. As the Lakers prepare to be without James for up to 2 weeks, as well as another starting forward in Hachimura, defense will be their greatest ally. Doncic and Austin Reeves will need to step up on offense, but the key to winning games will be maintaining the focus on elite defensive consistency. Thankfully, even in defeat, the Lakers appear as committed as ever to staying the course and embracing what got them to 40-23. Lakers injury concern: Luka Doncic clearly banged up, says LA Insider. Luka Doncic is clearly banged up, raising LA Lakers concerns about his back problems during the team's recent losing streak. The injury-riddled Los Angeles Lakers are currently on a 2-game losing streak, with Luka Doncic facing struggles offensively. In losses to the Boston Celtics and Brooklyn Nets, Doncic made just 19 field goals on 48 attempts and committed 5 turnovers in each game. But there is probably the reason for such a dip, and it appears to be back problems. Following the loss to the Celtics, Luka tried to downplay the issue but was visibly affected on the court, grimacing and hobbling while holding his back. After the game, the Slovenian star admitted to experiencing back soreness since a tough fall against the New York Knicks last Thursday but reassured fans, saying, "I'm fine." However, the effects of his injury were also evident against the Nets. "I think Luka is clearly banged up with the back," beat writer Jovan Buha of The Athletic stated on his podcast. "That's something that he had aggravated before the Knicks game, then aggravated again in the next game, and then was hobbled in Boston. I thought he looked hobbled at times tonight, in Brooklyn," Buha added. "That's something that he's going to have to manage moving forward. Lakers are banged up at a really bad time, and I think this could uncover some truths about this team." Luckily, the LA Lakers now have 2 days off before a challenging back-to-back schedule, with games against the Milwaukee Bucks and Denver Nuggets on Thursday and Friday. Currently, they hold the number 3 seed in the Western Conference with a 40-23 record, while Doncic has averaged 24.5 points, 8.4 rebounds, and 8.0 assists in 12 games, 34.1 minutes, since joining the team in a trade. Buha also shared injury updates on other players. LeBron James tends to be out for 2 weeks instead of 1, Rui Hachimura will be re-evaluated at the end of the week, Jackson Hayes and Dorian Finney-Smith are currently day-to-day.